They are souls from before the flood without spirits. So I accept that. I don't believe that they were fallen angels themselves, but were a sort of genetic mixture of seed. And they do roam the earth, you know, so they're still looking to outwork their personalities through people. I think if you read Genesis 6 and look at what it was, that the thoughts and intentions were wicked continually, it was obviously quite difficult. And I believe that Noah was ultimately the only completely human being from a perspective genetically without having any mixture in his seed. So he was pure in his generations, righteous in his generations. The rest of the world wasn't. Now, there was a mixture. Not everyone who died in the flood was not human. So there were still human people, and there were those who weren't human, in a sense they didn't have a human spirit. So there was a mixture. And Noah's wife and Noah's sons and Noah's sons' wives also had mixture, and therefore they produced different lines going forward after the flood, which is why you could get giants and things still after the flood as before, because it was a genetic production through pure genetics, not as it was produced with the Nephilim and the Watcher angels and all of that. So where do those beings stand then within a restoration process? I believe, according to Colossians, that all things that Jesus created for him, by him, through him, are all reconciled through the cross, through the blood of the cross, and therefore all those things that Jesus created can be restored. But I don't believe Jesus created demons. I believe we created demons with fallen angels. So therefore, what do we do with them? I believe all fallen angels can be restored because they were created by Jesus and for him, and he's not given up on them and wants a relationship with him because they were created for that relationship. And those things as being on earth or in the heavens or under the earth, it talks about different categories of those that are all for restoration. Now, I do not believe demons can be restored in the same way, because I don't believe that they were created. So what happens to them? Well, in my sort of journey in this, I would have started saying, well, I don't know, but they can't be restored, so maybe they'll just cease to exist or whatever. But as I've gone on the journey of discovering sonship and discovering our ascension into mature sonship, the Father has talked to me about fatherhood. And therefore, as we ascend in our maturity, we'll come to a place where we will be like fathers. So the Father said to me, I've given mankind the right to judge angels. Now, that's not just judging fallen angels, that's making a judgment over all angels. So every time an angel does something positive, helping me, I thank them. And I'm judging their work and saying, that was good. Thank you. So that's a positive judgment, not a negative one. So when I come to make judgment on fallen angels, I am making the same judgment. As I have been loved unconditionally and forgiven unconditionally, then I'm going to treat you the same way as part of God's creation and part of what Jesus created for him. And I'm going to respond in the same way to bring about restoration. So I engage them in a restoration judgment, a judgment to life based on what Jesus did through the blood of the cross. What the Father said to me is, as you have the right to judge angels, and the way you judge angels, you will have the right, when you come to a mature position, not just talking about me, but the sons of God, will have the right to judge the demonic beings. So they're dispossessed souls, really. So you have the right to judge them, and you can choose what happens to them. Now, for me, if I am holding no bitterness or unforgiveness towards anything, including demons, then why wouldn't I want them to have some sort of purpose within creation? That purpose can be assigned by us to them to give them an ongoing purpose without their destruction or annihilation. But obviously they would need to be brought into a state of reconciliation and redemption from their lost state for a purpose which is yet to be agreed or created. And so I believe ultimately they could be restored. They can be restored to what? Because the restoration isn't to something that already existed. So it's more like they will be redeemed from their lost state, brought into the same reconciliation that the rest of us have, but for a purpose yet to be assigned to them. And that assignment of that purpose will be, I believe, by us in a fathering state where we will take responsibility for what we've done in a positive way. So hopefully that gives you some insight there. Now, that's something the Father has talked to me about. It's not something I've done yet. And I don't think I would even be in a position to do it. I'm not going to do it on my own, obviously, but I don't believe that I am yet mature enough maybe to make that choice or even to come up with the creative purpose for them yet. I haven't given it that much thought because I don't feel it's something for today or now, but I do believe in the future mankind will have ascended into a mature sonship position, which then we will be given responsibility for what happens as we move into the ages to come. Because I believe that things will shift in the future when we come to that mature state, and we will go on into a mature co-heirship, co-creatorship with God. And what we did was a perversion of what we will be in independence. So I do believe we will create things and we will assign things and we will have that creative ability when we ascend. And if we had not sort of gone on the sidetrack, mankind may well have already been in that ascended state. But right now we're still need restoration, and we still need everything to be restored to God's original purpose and condition. So hopefully that's given you some insight. Again, you're free to disagree or have your own views on it. That's where I've come to, and the conclusion that I have had from my relationship with God in his nature and character. And I want to be like him. So if he's forgiven us and he's forgiven all fallen beings and reconciled them, well, why wouldn't I also want to act that way towards that which sort of mankind has formed in some way? If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.